Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Game of Trades and this is going to be a completely new type of video. I'm going to do a technical analysis of the Nifty 50, which is ETF that represents India. The reason I'm doing this is because I noticed I have uh, many new Indian subscribers on my YouTube channel. So I'm not gonna get let that go unnoticed, and I'm gonna try and do something for my Indian subscribers. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you want me to do more videos on some Indian ETFs, because it doesn't cost me anything to do these kind of videos. Today I'm mainly going to review the monthly and weekly charts of this ETF. Um, and again, if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to let me know and I'll do some more daily and hourly charts for you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This is a monthly chart of the Nifty 50, and so each candle represents a month, and it's goes back to 2000, but we're mainly gonna focus on the past 10 years or so, because that's when the most amount of technical developments has happened. And as you can see, I have this huge uptrend line dating back to 2008 with quite a few reactions. We have it captures the low from the 2008 crash and a few reactions along the way. And keep in mind that this is actually log scaling, and this is actually something you want to do when you're looking at charts that have a huge amount of variety in the prices. You can see what it basically does is it puts each move in equal proportions, which is not something you have on the normal scaling on normal charts. So that's something you want to take a look at. The chart is completely different without log scaling, so make sure you check that out if you haven't seen what it can actually do. And it paints a whole new technical picture, and this trend line does not actually appear without log scaling. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. That's not really analysis, is just the setup of my chart. So this is the monthly chart, and I see a few things in this chart. First of all, it's a huge bull market. You know, um, let's just say that the bull market started in 2008. It's same thing as the US stock market. We have a non-stop bull market since around 2008. We did have a few corrections, but nothing too major. So, this is a big increase in the prices of stock, um, especially since 2016, where we have had no real correction in price. So I'm not saying this is not normal, but I'm saying it's likely that the Indian ETF will see some type of correction in the near future, whether that is in 2019 or in the next few years. Now you can see one thing. We are starting to contract closer and closer to the trend line, and that is actually a sign that the end of the economic cycle is approaching. When you have a uptrend line and the price starts to hug it closer and closer, well, eventually it will break, and that's when you have a correction. Now, that is certainly a possibility in this chart. That's what I see right now. You can see, you can make a nice little trend line above here, and that shows the price constriction. And if you look up on Google a wedge pattern, this is exactly what it looks like. And it's not uncommon to have these on markets or on ETFs. On the monthly charts, just because it's just a simple way for the market to behave, to indicate a coming correction, to indicate a slowing of momentum. You know, you had huge growth since 2008. The prices were way too low, so price was increasing quickly, and now it's slowing down. It's contracting close to the trend line. It's having a hard time keeping up the gains that it made in 2009. So that's the first thing I wanted to say on the monthly chart, and obviously price contraction is almost always coupled with divergence on the MACD, and you can see that we had this in 2007 and 2010. We had the MACD making a lower high here, whilst the price actually made an equal high. All right, uh, and that led to this nice little correction and consolidation period. And this actually was a signal to tell us that price was not going to increase. Price had already diverged, and we weren't going to see big gains. And then we had a breakout of the triangle pattern on the monthly chart, and we had a nice rally after that. So that's the first example of divergence on the monthly chart I can show you, and this is the second example. You have divergence from 2015 to now. Right here, the MACD made a lower high, whilst price continues on higher. That just shows that um, we're likely done climbing up in price, and probably will get a small correction in the Nifty. All right, so I'm going to review the weekly chart now and go into more detail as to what kind of correction we're likely to see. So for the weekly chart, I actually turned off the log scaling, as you can see, and that is just because we do not have as much price variation in the weekly charts as in the monthly charts. So if you're not familiar with log scaling, just search it up on the internet and um, play around with it a little bit, and you'll get a sense of when to use it versus when not to use it. And the weekly chart clearly does not have enough percentage gains or losses to actually use log scaling. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. You can use it for the monthly chart, but not the weekly chart. So on this chart, you can see we have the MACD making a lower high here on my cursor, and the price making a higher high. So that is divergence and indicative of a potential trend change. Again, we have this sort of wedge pattern going on with a minor uptrend line right here. I'm going to show you guys what I mean when I say divergence indicates trend change. You can see in 2015 right here, the MACD was starting to turn down right here. We had a series of lower highs, I mean, and the price was continuing on higher during that same time period. And when it peaked, we had one last crossover to the bearish side. The blue line crossed down on the red one, and we had a nice correction all the way to here, and that's when we started a new bull market after 2015. So again, same thing here. We have two sets of divergences here. Will this time be any different? I guess we'll see. We'll wait and see. But in my preferred scenario, I think this is what's going to happen, and I may trade this. I'm not used to trading the Nifty, but I definitely will trade if I see some potential opportunities to the short side. We may start to break this trend line and revisit the lows we made in the end of 2018 right here. So that is the level that I'm looking for, a revisit of this level, and that's at least the level that I'm looking for correction at. Now that's what I wanted to say on the divergence, and one more thing I wanted to say on the weekly chart is the fact that we've actually broken out to all-time highs. You can see this was the all-time high, and we broke out, and this is the exact same thing that we have on the US market. And if you didn't see my video on the US market, um, I'm actually going to post a new one probably quite soon, so keep up to date for that. But when you have a breakout to all-time highs um, on an index with divergence on the weekly chart and close to overbought levels, it considerably increases the likelihood that this breakout is false. And this is exactly what happened, and this is what's going to happen for the US market. The US market is currently breaking out of to all-time highs, and I am 80% sure that, I'm putting high odds that the US market will fail the breakout, just like the Nifty failed the breakout right here, where we're cracking down below the all-time highs level with a big red candle showing, confirming that this was effectively a false breakout. And when you get these kind of false breakouts, you tend to have big red candles following it, just like here we had a breakout to all-time highs here with a few small green candles, then one big red candle showing it was, they're showing weakness, and then boom, a big drop in a few weeks. And I do not expect any less here. I think this is probably what we're going to see, and within the next few weeks we'll likely break this downtrend line, this uptrend line, and again revisit the lows that I talked about here. So that's about it on the Nifty. Again, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know if you enjoyed the video. In the meantime, good luck on your trading, and see you next time.